At 2:11 a.m., the bus turns onto the only road that leads to Rikers Island. The city disappears behind you. No music. No talking. Just the sound of chains shifting every time the bus hits a crack in the pavement. And that's when it hits you. This isn't county lockup. This isn't holding overnight. This is Rikers. By the time the sun rises, someone on this bus will break down. Someone will get tested. And someone will make a decision that determines how the rest of their stay goes. The first 24 hours don't decide your case. They decide who you become inside. There were 18 men on that bus. Some staring at the floor. Some staring out the window at the black water surrounding the island. Some pretending not to care. One of them, we'll call him Darren, was 23 years old. First serious charge, bail set higher than his family could manage overnight. He kept replaying the judge's words in his head. Remanded, one word, new reality. Across from Darren sat a man who looked like he'd done this before, calm, shoulders relaxed. As scanning, first time, the man asked quietly. Darren nodded. The man leaned forward slightly. Listen carefully. Don't stare at nobody. Don't talk too much. And don't know nothing. Then he leaned back. No further explanation. The bus rolled forward. The doors opened with a metallic hiss. Cold air rushed in. Line up. Move, officers directed them. Inside intake. Fluorescent lights. Concrete floors. Metal benches. Bolted to the ground. Everything moved fast until it didn't. Because intake is where time stretches. Belts removed. Shoelaces taken. Property bagged and tagged. Fingerprints. Mugshot. Medical screening. And then waiting. Always waiting. Darren was placed into a holding cell with over 30 other men. No beds, just benches and standing room. This is where the first invisible hierarchy forms, not officially, socially. A man near the back motioned to a corner seat. That's taken. There was no sign, but everyone understood. Darren chose a spot near the middle, neutral ground. That was his first strategic decision. After a few hours, conversations began quietly. Where you from? What building you think you go into? You got bail. These aren't friendly questions. They're assessments. Darren answered carefully. Short sentences. No extra details. He noticed something important. The loudest men were trying to project control. The quiet ones were calculating. He chose to calculate. Eventually, Darren got access to a phone. 3 minutes. Collect call only. His sister answered. I'm okay, he said automatically. But when she asked, when are you coming home? He didn't have an answer. That silence weighed heavier than the shackles. Because most people inside Rikers are waiting for trial, not sentenced. Just waiting. And waiting changes people. By late afternoon, names were called for housing. Darren's name echoed through the intake corridor. He was assigned to a dorm-style unit. Around 50 beds. Open layout. One TV mounted high. As he stepped inside, the noise dropped for half a second. Every head turned. New arrivals are always scanned. Shoes. Posture. Eye contact. An older inmate sitting near the center table gave a small nod. That nod meant Darren could move freely without immediate friction. Inside, acceptance isn't friendship. It's temporary tolerance. Dinner trays slid in. Rice, beans, chicken. Darren sat quietly. The man next to him gestured toward Darren's an open milk carton. You drinking that? It sounded casual. It wasn't. If Darren gave it away instantly, he looked weak. If he refused aggressively, he created tension. He answered evenly. Yeah, I need it. The man stared for 2 seconds. Then shrugged. Test passed. Barely. Lights dimmed around 11 p.m. But sleep doesn't come easy. Some men whisper. Some stare at the ceiling. Some stay awake on purpose. Because the first night is when reactions are observed. Around 1:26 a.m. voices rose near the bathroom. A quick scuffle. Officers rushed in. Alarms briefly echoed. Darren stayed on his bunk. Eyes forward. He remembered the bus. Don't involve yourself. Inside Rikers, curiosity can cost you. At 5 a.m., lights snapped on. Count. Every inmate stood by their bunk. An officer walked the hall with a clipboard. Darren glanced toward the far wall. 2 beds were empty. No announcement. No explanation. Gone. Transfers, court. Another unit. Nobody asked. Nobody ever does. That was lesson number 2. People disappear quietly here. By hour 20, Darren was exhausted. That's when a man approached him. Mid-30s, calm voice. You need help navigating this place? It sounded helpful, almost friendly. I can make sure you don't get bothered. Darren understood what that meant. Protection comes with a price. He remembered the bus. Don't know nothing. I'm good, Darren said calmly. The man studied him, then nodded once. Decision made. Darren remained neutral. And neutrality, in the first 24 hours, is power. At exactly to 11 a.m., 24 hours after crossing the bridge, Darren lay on his bunk staring at the ceiling. He wasn't the same person who stepped off that bus. He had learned, respect is measured quietly. Silence is strategy. Observation is survival. The island hadn't broken him, but it had started reshaping him. And this was only part 1.